Okay, so DCS, move variables first. Let's do this. We're going to change this subtraction to adding the opposite. It's always a good habit to get into. As tempting as it is maybe not to do it, you should do it. So I'm going to move the variables first. I don't like negatives, so I'm going to take away 2x. You move that as a chunk, and I'm left with 13 plus 3x equals negative 8. All right, and I got the variable here on one side, so I got to get rid of this 13. 3x equals negative 8. Take away 13 more, I'm at negative 21. And the last step is to do what? Divide by 3. X equals negative 7. Now look what it says here. Let's just do this one and say we did it, okay? We don't need to do them all. So if I put this into wherever x is, and you just go to your calculator, you do this side, and you do this side. You can do it in your head. That'd be my preference, but if you should end up with negative 22 equals negative 22, and that is true. I think you're all probably pretty good at checking, right? Did you have to do it last year? Did they make you? All right. All right, let's do this one. Actually, you guys do this one on your own. It's the same thing. Change these to adding the opposite and move the variables first. It doesn't matter which one, but just move the variables first. Try it on your own. Again, if you like to draw the line, that's fine with me. No matter which way you moved it, you should have gotten the same answer. You should get the same answer. Did it work? Okay, cool. These two are very similar, so I'm just going to do one of them. I'm going to do this one. Change the subtracting to adding an opposite. Who wants, what would you do first here? Garrett? Yeah, I would probably distribute. I know yesterday we were looking at it and saying, well, we could divide by 5, but you can't because there's all this stuff here and it's just ugly. So you have to distribute. So keep the left side the same. We're not doing anything with that right now. We're going to distribute that 5. 5a and 5 times negative 3. Now let's move the a's. Doesn't matter which one. I'm going to get rid of the negative. Move them as a chunk. What's next? Right on. Add 15. What's next? Divide by 9. How you feeling about this so far? A equals 2. Okay, there's a few more things we got to look at that you're going to see in your homework and on the quiz tomorrow. So don't write this down. But let's say yesterday you had problems that looked like this. Correct? And what did you do to start that problem? Kira? Right, it was easy to get rid of this fraction, multiply both sides by 4 or 5/4. What's the difference between this problem and this problem? Everybody look up here, because it's important. What's the difference between this problem and this problem? I know some of you see it. Courtney, what do you see? This side looks the same, kind of, doesn't it? Just different numbers, right? Does this side look the same? No. Therefore, you cannot multiply by the reciprocal. It just would be ugly in this problem. Doesn't help you. So you have to distribute. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. You leave the left side the same. And I'm going to distribute that 2/3 times 6y. I stop because I'm going to put this over 1. You can put any number over 1, can't you? Plus 2/3 times 15 over 1. Leave the left side the same still. We're not really doing anything with that yet. I'm going to change that to that. We have to simplify these two things here. So here I have 2/3 times 6 over 1. How do I multiply fractions? Straight across. Which means I have 12 over 3, correct? What is 12 over 3? Simplified. 4. So this whole thing next to the y becomes 4y. That whole thing next to the y becomes 4y. Plus, 2 times 15 is 30. 3 times 1 is 3. 30 divided by 3 is what? 10. So that's what goes here. It's kind of messy, but see what I did there? If you don't have to write it out, you don't have to write it out. But it might help to write it out so you can see what you're doing to get those numbers. Okay? Now it's just a regular problem that we solve. Subtract 4y, subtract 4y. 4y plus negative 6 equals 10. Add 6. 4y equals 16. Divide by 4. And y equals 4. I know I finished that fast. I'll let you write it down. Okay, I want you to try this one. It's the same idea as this one. You have to distribute that fraction. So just try setting it up on your own. Distribute that fraction. This is how it should look. I didn't finish it yet. I just did the fractions. See, 1 over 5 times 5 over 1 equals 1. 1 over 5 times 20 over 1 equals 4.
For this, would I subtract 4 or would I add?
This should not be 5. It should be 1. See, look.
Oh, because 5 over 5 is 1, yeah.
Okay. Now we solve this. We could just subtract 1x, subtract 1x. 3x plus negative 5 equals 4. Add 5, add 5. You don't even have to really finish it. It's just this fraction thing that I want you to figure out. The rest of it's the same. There'll be a couple more fraction problems on the advanced quiz tomorrow than on the regular, just so you know. That's part of the difference as well. Okay? These are some special situations, and then I'll be done. Special situations you might see today. Solve the equation if possible. That kind of is a warning there. Maybe something funky will happen. All right, so I'm just going to start this. I'm going to keep the left side the same and distribute that 5. Does anybody see what's going to happen here? Yeah. If you subtract 5x, those go away. It would be 0, but we don't have to write it right now. But we can say this is what's left. What? How many people wrote what? You didn't have to, but that's okay. Is that a true statement? Is that true? -6 equals -5? No. It's not true. So what do you think that means? There is no solution. So that's what you would write. No solution. I abbreviated it. No solution. No x value I can stick in there and make it work. That's one situation you might come up with. Something like that. It's not true. Okay, let's do another one. If I distribute this 4 and the 2, you get 12x plus 8 equals 12x plus 8. Ah, isn't that equal? Always true? This is true. So you would say, since they're the same, it is all numbers are solutions. That's a lot to write. Have you ever seen this symbol before? Anybody know what that stands for? Soren, have you seen this before? Oh, it looks like pi, but it's not. It's similar. It's an international symbol. What does it stand for, Lauren? All real numbers. So it might be easier if you want to just write all real numbers. That's the same thing. All real numbers. It's like an R with 2 lines. That's what it is. This one is really not, I don't even know why this is on here. I think it's just to show you that you could end up with W equals 0 as the answer. That's what happens. It's not really a big deal. So in your homework, I think the biggest thing you need to remember is the fraction stuff and when you come across these situations. Okay? Now, it's not just this though.